Good morning, one and all. I think you are now energetic now, and it is not just a greeting, it signifies a hope that the beautiful morning will bring smile on your face and happiness in your life. So I wish each one of you a very lovely and beautiful morning and welcome you all to the IIEBM's induction program of 22nd batch Ignite 2021. I am Professor Neeraj Kumar Sathone from Placement Team IIEBM, your host for the session. As you know already, the session will be of 1 hour 15 minutes, where first 1 hour will be knowledge sharing and rest 15 minutes will be for question and answer. You can type your questions in the chat box, which will be addressed at the end of the session. It's not about ideas, but about the making ideas happen. And who else can explain it better than our today's guest, Mr. Harjeet Khanduja? We will talk on bird's eye view of telecom sector. So let me introduce Mr. Harjeet sir. Harjeet sir is a senior vice president human resource at Reliance Jio. He is author, speaker, influencer, inventor, international speaker, poet, visionary. Harjeet sir has set multiple greenfield projects and has handled HR for large multinational organizations in various geographies, including India, US, and Canada. Experience span a range of industry sectors that include automotive, manufacturing, pharma, alternate energy, ITES, telecom, digital, healthcare, and retail, and has worked with business houses like Tata, Reliance, and Parimal. He is currently working as Vice President HR at Reliance Jio. Harjeet sir is a Thomson medalist Thomson medalist from IIT Roorkee and has completed his management education from INSEAD. Certified practitioner of SAP HCM, Six Sigma, executive coaching, OKRs, design thinking, predictive index, Tata Business Excellence Model, ISO 9000, ISO 27000, Insight Wheels, HIPAA, Value Engineering, Kaizen, and 5S. Apart from this, sir have 3 published patents in the area of HR technology. He has been conferred with HR Leadership Award, Pride of Nation Award, HR Personality of the Year, LinkedIn Power Profile, Global Learning Award, Global Digital Ambassador, Top 100 HR Minds, Top 100 Global Thought Leader of 2021, and Top 50 HR Tech Leaders. Also, sir has been featured in a book, Heroes Amongst Us, by Dr. Amit Nagpal. He has been a guest faculty at IIM Ahmedabad and NMIMS, board member of Federation of World Academics, member of CII HR and IR Committee, member of IIRF Quality Assurance Committee, co-chair of NASCOM D&I Committee, Rotary Club, and SAP HCM, and associated with various NGOs like Council of Technical Scholars, Anuthi, NGO focused on education of disabled. Harjeet sir has authored the book Nothing About Business, which has been an Amazon bestseller. Apart from that, he has published books like Chicken Soup for an IITian Soul, Touched by Poetry. He has been published in leading magazines including People Matters, Business Manager, Insight Plus, HR.com, Human Factor, The Indian Economist, Human Capital, IT Next. He writes a column for Human Capital called The H in HR. He is an international Hindi poet and writes satirical poems on social issues and features in Sub TV. He is a TEDx speaker and speaks on variety of topics including HR, leadership, technology, economics, and entrepreneurship. Sir work with Anthelio Healthcare Solutions, Reliance Retail, Nicholas Parimal India Limited. So there are so many things I would like to include in introduction, but then introduction will be brief and you are not able to interact with sir. So now I would like to request Harjeet sir to take over. Now over to you, sir. Welcome to the IIBM's induction program, sir.
Thank you, Professor Neeraj. In fact, you guys are so lucky that you have Professor Neeraj. The way he was interacting with you and the way he wished you a very good morning. Means if somebody wishes you a good morning like that, your day is made. And आजकल तो नीरज ही चल रहा है ना. नीरज चोपड़ा won a gold for us, and
Yes, sir.
now you have Professor Neeraj who is actually bringing gold for you. So I would like to take you through the telecom sector. I've prepared a presentation for you. I would like to share that presentation with you. So we are going to take a bird's eye view of telecom sector. And what is important is that you know the character who is on the screen. This character is known as blue. And blue is a very sharp, I should not call it, it is a very sharp bird. It is one of the most intelligent birds. And we will see the entire telecom sector from the eyes of blue. Before we move forward, why I was talking about blue? Because this presentation has movie references. And why it has movie references? Because I am a movie buff. Although no parental guidance is required, but if you are not into movies, then you might have problem in understanding part of the presentations. However, anything you try, please try at your own risk. Don't tell your professor afterwards that somebody with turban came and he told us something and we tried. So try it at your own risk. Images are used for educational purposes, and copyright of the images is with the respective owners. Before we move forward, I want to set a ground rule. Now here, I don't know whether you guys are able to speak in the call or not speak in the call, but I would like to hear from you or some of you. Uh, are you able to see the lady in the blue dress?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell me what is the color of the bottle which is in front of her?
So not clearly visible, but it's a transparent one with blue cap.
Excellent. So the problem with this picture is black and white. It is not a colored picture. If you see in this picture, on this black and white picture, somebody has put lines, and these lines are of various colors. What your mind is doing is, your mind is filling color in the picture, taking reference from these lines. And same thing we are going to do in this presentation. I am going to create some references, giving you cues from, say, various walks of life, and I will ask you to fill color in the picture. So it is not that I am going to tell you exactly, okay, this is what telecom sector means. I will draw certain parallels and let you figure out. You guys are MBA students, right? And that is what MBA means. That you have information and you draw inferences and come to your own conclusions. And we will measure the success of this presentation based on that. If at the end of the presentation you understand, you are able to take away at least one thing with you which is usable, which can help you uh, in your future, then we will say, okay, this entire hour we are spending together, that is well spent. And I'm not going to talk about, say, big things. I am going to talk about small things, uh, which can bring you clarity in terms of how this sector is arranged, what is meant by this. And if your fundamentals are clear, I believe rest everything you will be able to sort out on your own. This is a very important piece on perspective. So different people on the call are going to see things in different light today. And your learning will be based on how you are seeing things. So the way you see things, based on that, you are going to pick up things from this presentation, and learning of each one of you might be different. With this, I will start. Uh, so just think, who changed the world? Can anyone tell me who changed the world? You're seeing picture of Scrat loving the nut. So, any guesses? Who changed the world? Professor Neeraj?
It's a very difficult question.
Arey, I will show
Uh,
you.
in chat box, you can see one answer is people, we the people, internet, human beings. You can see in the chat box, sir.
It's a somehow
Students are replying.
I am not able to see the chat box. So,
Yes, sir, you can see the chat box. Okay, you have shared the screen, that's why. Okay. So human
look,
beings, we the people, like that. These are the answers from students.
look, this guy changed the world. You know this guy? Professor Neeraj, you must be knowing. In fact, everyone on this call must be knowing who this guy is, who changed the world. This is called mobile phone. The mobile phone which you carry in your hand, that is the biggest invention of the century, and it changed the world. You know the kind of power you hold in your hand in a mobile phone? When Apollo landed on moon, the computer that was controlling it, your mobile phone has processing power 1 lakh times more than that computer which landed Apollo on moon. And that is a thing which has changed the world. And look, it is not only that just because mobile phone has come, the world has changed. Like some of you were saying that people have changed the world. Actually, people only change the world. You know why people change the world? Because all these things we talk about, mobile phone or artificial intelligence, these things have a social impact. And that social impact, how we interact with each other, that has changed. Earlier we used to talk, now we chat on WhatsApp, we chat on Facebook, and things like that. So our interaction has changed. Our In fact, a lot of things have changed over past 20 years. You know what is this? Professor Neeraj, you must be knowing what is this.
Yes, sir. Telegram typing or message sending machine.
No, this is the first telephone of the world.
Okay, great.
And look, this is how it looked like. President Rutherford, who was the president of US at that point in time, he looked at this and he said, "This is a marvelous invention. But who is going to use it?" And see, today, we can't live without our phones. That is how this all started. And you know who started it? Any guesses? Who invented phone?
In Bell Lab.
Oh, you are talking about Graham Bell. Actually, uh, you might be seeing two photographs on the screen. Both the people have long beard just like me. The only difference is my beard is black and theirs is white. The person on the right side is Graham Bell, and the person on the left side is Antonio Meucci from Italy. Antonio Meucci invented mobile phone in 1849, which is like 170 years back. But why do we call Graham Bell the inventor of telephony? Because Graham Bell got it, improved it, and he got the patent for mobile phone, not mobile phone, for this entire telephony, the first phone, and it got patented in the name of Graham Bell. So one learning I am dropping here, uh, it is not important that you invent something. It is equally important to get an IP of the intellectual property of whatever you are inventing. And just I was inspired by this because first Antonio Meucci did this, then there was another gentleman called Charles. He also invented the same thing in 1954. The only difference was Graham Bell got it patented, and that is why I got inspired, and I also filed 3 patents, uh, just to make sure that whatever inventions I am doing, uh, they remain with me. And you have seen the first phone. After the first phone, you would have seen this phone where people are dialing. There used to be a dial pad and a hanger. You are seeing that phone on the left side, and then we came with from dial pad to touch pads, where you can actually pick up the phone, dial a number. So here comes an important concept. All these phones which we are talking about, they were wireline phones. When we say wireline, one phone was connected to the other phone with a wire. In childhood, you would have played a game where you take a thread and you put some pieces, say you cut a ball and put those pieces at the end of at the end of the thread and talk to each other using that. So you are using a wire in between for communicating. So all these phones which were created initially, they had a wire. And there was something we loved using wireless. Means we anticipated that someday we will speak something here, and the person on the other side, without putting a wire there, will be able to hear us. And the first mobile phone was invented by this gentleman. His name is Martin Cooper, uh, and he invented this in 1973, say 100 years after the, you can say, the fixed line phone was invented. He used to work for Motorola, and Motorola uh, is given credit of bringing in the first mobile phone. And you can see how big that phone was. He is holding that phone in his hand. That is the first phone which got created. And after that, you can see how the transition of mobile phone has happened. In fact, if you see the evolution of mobile phone, how it has changed. It started with big, and then it started going small, and then suddenly again it started growing big. It started growing big because the touch screen came. That is 2008, when mobile phones turned smart, and Apple brought an iPhone, and that changed the world forever. But whatever we discussed till now, that is not telecom. And you must be thinking, if this is not telecom, then what is telecom? What we were talking about was mobile phones. Telecom sector is a set of companies which make communication possible. So this communication can be through phone, this communication can be through internet, this communication can be through airwaves, this communication can be through cables, uh, through wires, or it can happen wirelessly. So when we are talking about telecom sector, keep that in mind. It is all about making communication possible. And if you remember correctly, the first communication, when was the first communication, prominent communication made, where if telephone would have been there, we would have saved someone's life? Uh, so we are getting into the definition of telecom. The first person was this guy who ran the first marathon just to deliver a communication that we have won the war. This guy ran uh, and completed the marathon, whatever marathon we call 42 kilometers. He did not run 42 kilometers. He ran half of it. He reached there and he died. That time somebody would have felt a need, कि boss, if mobile phone would have been there, or if some kind of communication would have been there, then we would have saved this guy's life, and our communication would have been, uh, our life have been much simpler. In fact, who can understand that more than us now? Then we said, okay, if humans should not deliver communication which are long distance, then who should? And this is how evaluation starts, that how communication should be made. Then we came to animals. So humans will not deliver messages. If you have seen this movie, this is Professor. You know the name of the movie?
Uh,
मैंने प्यार किया.
yes, right.
कबूतर जा जा जा.
Right, sir.
So we came to animals. In fact, this in the time of Nawabs of when Nawab period was there, that time these Nawabs used to have these pigeons to deliver messages from one place to another. In fact, you would have seen a similar kind of thing in Game of Thrones also. In Game of Thrones, they were using crows for delivering messages. And then came Telegram, जिसको we used to say तार आया है. I don't know whether you guys have experienced tar or not, but it is not the same Telegram which you use for social media right now. It used to be a very different thing. It used Morse code, and this was even before when the first mobile phone was invented. So Telegram uh, is supposed to be the grandfather of entire uh, telecom industry or telecom sector. This was invented in 1844 and Morse code was being used. Post that, take a guess which was the first company which was into telegraph and telephone. I will give you a hint that this company started in 1885. And interestingly, this company is still around. Take a guess.
Is it a Vodafone, sir?
No, it is not Vodafone. Okay, without further ado, uh, this company is called AT&T, American Telegraph and Telephone. This was the first company which started um and used Graham Bell's patent for creating communication through phone. And that is why we know Graham Bell as the father of telephony. Because whatever he invented, that actually got implemented, and even after more than say 145 years, we are closing on 150 years, this company is still around. Let's to uh, another side of telecom. So when we are defining the sector, the first part of the sector is fixed line communication. You would have seen this fixed line communication. मेरे पिया गए रंगून वहां से किया है टेलीफोन, and the phone she is holding in her hand is the same phone, a fixed line phone which is connected through a line. We discussed about that. So this is one sector, and this used to be very popular earlier uh, till the time mobile telephony came. And you know, this is how we have changed. माँ का phone आया, you would have heard that. So this is mobile communication. You don't need a wire for communicating. How communication happens? Uh, Telecom companies put towers, and these towers are connected to each other through wireline. But when a consumer calls from the mobile phone gets connected to the nearest tower. So communication happens from your mobile phone to the tower, and from tower it goes to uh, the other person who is on the receiving side, to that person's nearest tower, and then they wirelessly connect to the mobile phone. So still the wire is being used, but at the consumer end, consumer doesn't see the wire when consumer is talking on the kind of mobile communication we are talking about. And let's understand how this industry has grown. So when we started, uh, it started with 1G, and you might be hearing, acha, right now 5G is coming or 4G has come. What is 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G? G is not a symbol of respect. G is basically generation. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. And you can see the kind of mobile sets which were there. So, 1G was the same phone our Motorola guy was handling, Mr. Cooper. And then you are seeing a Nokia phone in 2G. And what was the difference between 1G and 2G? Of course, in 1G you can only call, in 2G you can do SMSs also. That was the difference. And another difference was that the speed increased. The speed increased from 2.4 kbps to 64 kbps, which is 30 times, almost 30 times. Then came 3G. And here in 3G you are seeing a smartphone. So now what user can do is user can call, user can SMS, and at the same time user can search the internet, and that was the advantage of 3G. And here in terms of speed, what happened was the 64 kbps speed which was there, that got enhanced to 2 mbps speed. So that was the difference between 2G and 3G. Again, the speed went up 30 times. The major jump which was there, that was there from 3G to 4G. So the major difference between 3G to 4G is that the speed went 50 times. So from 2 Mbps, now we are at 100 Mbps. And when you are at 100 Mbps, it allows you to communicate through the way we are doing, say, video call right now. So you can do video calls. And what is going to be different in 5G? So in 5G, you would have seen certain phones. They say when uh, there is a concept called wireless charging. So that is one thing which is coming, which is wireless charging. Your usual services are already there. You have high speed internet, you have phone calls, you have SMSs, you have videos. Another important thing 5G is going to enable is Internet of Things. Internet of Things means that your devices, like right now everyone has phones. After some time, maybe your refrigerator will also have a SIM card. I don't know whether it will be a SIM card or it will be a built IoT device inside. And your microwave also will have a IoT. In fact, your lights are going to be very smart. In fact, I have recently put smart lights at my home just to see how it works. So if I tell Alexa, change the lighting of the room, it actually changes the lighting of the room. Good that Alexa did not hear. I believe it is switched off. So that's great. Otherwise, lighting would have got changed. If you see between 4G to 5G, it is not the speed, it is the utility which is going to go up. That is the difference between 4G and 5G. And second thing, if IoT gets facilitated, then like sitting at your say sitting in your classroom, you can actually control uh, that you are reaching home and something needs to be done at your home in terms of the refrigerator needs to do something or your microwave needs to do something. So those things you can control sitting at a distant place just through your mobile phone. That is giving more power. That is actually making smartphones even more smarter. So we talked about till now two segments. One was fixed mobile phone, and second was sorry, one was fixed line, another was uh, wireless. So wireline, wireless, or fixed line phone and mobile phone. These were the two segments we have talked about till now. Third important piece of telecom sector is DTH operators, direct to home operators, and there are primarily four DTH operators which are there in the country. Uh, so, giving you an example of DTH, it is like direct to your home, whatever services Tata Sky provides you. So, um, they have a receiving station, the communication goes to satellite, and from satellite it comes back to uh, your dish which you have put in, and through that you actually run your television. The idea of this DTH operator was that we can enable more people to see the digital communication or the mass communication which is being done. So all the TV channels which are there, they run through DTH operators, and this is important part of telecom sector. Another important part of telecom sector is, you have seen this movie, Doctor?
Drishyam, sir.
Pardon?
If I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
Drishyam. It is Drishyam. And what is our hero in Drishyam doing? Yeah, yeah. This is Drishyam. What was our uh, like the hero of Drishyam? What was his job? What was he supposed to do? Means what was he doing actually in the movie? Ajay Devgan. What was he
Sir,
was
one,
he was a cable operator.
right.
So, cable operators are also part of the telecom ecosystem and they also come under telecom sector. These people are called multiple system operators or MSOs. As of now in India, there are 415 MSOs which are there, which provide uh, cable service. Remember, all these cable operators were actually brought in being by Z, uh, ZTV, which comes. So ZTV actually brought multiple system operators and started competing with Doordarshan. And that was the beauty of it. That time, people used to have long antennas, and one person was watching the TV and the other person was adjusting the antenna, because either the monkeys will come and turn your antenna or the flow of air will bend your antenna down. So they understood the problem, they took away that problem, they laid fiber, or I would not say fiber, they laid copper wires, and through copper wires they connected homes and they started providing these systems. Uh, so they used to connect homes through cable, that is why they were called cable operators. What we call them is multiple system operators, because they provide multiple systems, not only cables. Now they provide uh, what do you call, internet services, or So there comes another sector which is called internet service providers. The people who connect your homes and provide internet services. And there are 358 of them in the country as of now. And you must be thinking that how do I know all these numbers, that how many cable operators are there and how many internet service providers are there. Don't worry about it. All this is public knowledge. And there is a agency called TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. And they publish a quarterly report. All this information, which whatever we are talking about, it is available in the same report. And every quarter they publish statistics about telecom sector, that what is telecom sector and how telecom sector is doing on a quarterly basis. So if you see, this is how telecom sector looks like. Mobility, fixed line, direct to home, multiple service operators, Ajay Devgan we are talking about, and internet service providers. And there is a sixth wing you are seeing, which is called research and development. So R&D is also an important piece of the sector, which keeps improving whatever we are talking about. Say IoT is going to happen or 5G is going to happen. That entire piece comes under R&D, that how the standards are going to be for 5G and how devices are going to be for 5G. That entire R&D piece is there. And there are serious companies which actually work on R&D. So this is telecom sector. Now, if till now this was interesting, then I will take you to the next segment of the presentation. So, Dr.
Yes,
Neeraj,
sir, please.
any feedback from the students?
Yes, sir. Student have asked one question.
Yeah.
How Jio managed to grow so quickly in telecom industry? What was its marketing strategy?
Arey, you guys know the marketing strategy. Why you picked up Jio? And the same reason for which you picked up Jio, that was the marketing strategy of Jio. Point is, moment you differentiate yourself. In fact, I would answer this in a different manner. So I'm again going to this 3G to 4G moment. The 3G to 4G was something which was very important. It was a big transition. 4G is a IP based network. When we say IP based network, so IP based networks run on fiber. Bandwidth is higher. And when bandwidth is higher, you can actually give that kind of a speed that you move from 2 Mbps to 100 Mbps. And when you come up with a product on 4G and you say that we are true 4G, we don't mix 2G or 3G, we provide you data. And moment you do that, do you think any 2G operator or 3G operator will be able to compete with people who are coming up with 4G? So it was competition of technologies, and moment people understand, okay, what I'm getting as part of 4G, then you don't have to do too much of marketing, so to say. It is just taking that word to the people that what is the future and how things are going to change in favor of you. So if you see value chain wise, why we give too much importance to say telecom companies, so to say, in the telecom sector. So what we say is that all the telecom companies, they are basically infrastructure companies. They set up infrastructure, and when they set up infrastructure, they put towers and connect towers and they charge say 100 rupees or 200 rupees per month from you for helping you communicate with each other. These are the companies which are called access companies. This contribute the devices on which you, like when you are talking, so you have a smartphone, the device costs 20%, and access, which is like the signal which comes into your mobile phone, that constitutes 55%, and the OTT applications which are there, like you get say Savan on your phone, or you get Google apps on your phone, Google Maps on your phone. So there are n number of apps you can use. So all those OTTs actually contribute for 10%. 10% goes into supply chain, and 5% goes into infra. So there are infra companies also. So infra companies, although all the access companies run on infra companies, that you create infrastructure, that is why that signal which comes in your mobile phone, that happens. But infra companies overall contribute to only to 5% of the uh, total value chain. And all these things, devices and OTT and SCM, whatever we are talking about, this comes from India. All this data has come from India Cellular and Electronics Association. So that is a separate association which actually looks into all this data. Now let's try to understand telecom, that how it impacts. So if you see statistics wise, um, there are around 1200 million subscribers. When I am talking about 1200 million subscribers, that means around 120 crore subscribers are there in our country. We are talking about India, and this is again, this data is from the same uh, TRI report, so that you get a sense of what the telecom sector is made of and how much impact it has. And if you see the distribution between wireline and wireless, around 1.1 crore or 1.15 crores are not 1.15, 115 crore subscribers are wireless subscribers, which are like mobile phone subscribers. What am I saying? So mobile phone subscribers, which are like wireless subscribers, 115 crore subscribers are of mobile phone, and there are only 21 million subscribers, which is around 2 crore subscribers are of wireline phones. So nowadays you might not be seeing wireline too much, and that is getting reflecting here. Earlier, BSNL used to provide those wireline phones. Now, since people have got wireless phones, people don't prefer wireline phones. The gross revenue of the industry in a quarter is somewhere around 60,000 crores. That is what you can see. So, we are talking about in a year, this industry actually churns or actually generates 2,40,000 crores of revenue. And there are 918 private channels which are there, and monthly ARPU. Now, this is an important term, ARPU. This is very popular in telecom sector. Uh, ARPU means average revenue per user. So when you recharge your phone, how much money you are paying on a monthly basis to the telecom service provider. That is what this talks about, and how much data people are consuming uh, per month. So that comes to 10.4 GB. Now, if you see teledensity means whether everyone has a phone or not. If you see from March 20 to March 21, it shows subscriber database. In March 20, there were around 117 crore people or 117 crore subscribers which were there, or phone connections which were there. And in March 21, in past 1 year, this number has increased by 3 crores. So now there are 120 crore connections across country. And we are a country of say more than 130 crore people. So the teledensity is 87% or 88%. That is where the teledensity is hovering around.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, most of the people are using 2, 3 numbers. So it is considered as a one person as one number, or one person may have a 2, 3 numbers.
So each connection is considered as one number.
Right.
So when we are talking about 1177, it means 1177. If you have two numbers, so all the two numbers are there in 1177. Like, you must be thinking that this is. So tell me whether this is good or this is bad. 87% people having mobile phone or 88% people having mobile phone.
So from management point of view, there is a huge opportunity for our students to enter into this field.
That is one way of looking at it. We generally think that if 88% people in the country have mobile phones, then is there any growth left for this sector? That is how people see it. So understand, this market is divided, and 55% of your subscribers are from urban population and 44% of your subscribers are from rural population. And you see how many people we have in rural India and how many people we have in urban India, you will find that 70% of India lives in villages. So that means in rural areas, our teledensity is much lesser. In urban area, our teledensity is 151%, and in rural areas, our teledensity is only 56%. That means not everyone has a mobile phone. Only 50% of the people have mobile phone. And that gives a huge opportunity that still 50% of India, 50% of rural India needs mobile phone. So what are we talking about? We are talking about at least 40-45 crore people in India still need a mobile phone. Why is urban teledensity higher? You would have seen this movie. You remember this guy?
No, sir, I haven't seen that.
So there was a movie on surgical strike, and this guy played a minister in that movie. So after every call, he used to break his phone. So not every one of us break this phone, but you were talking about that we have multiple phones, and since people have multiple phones, that is why urban teledensity is higher. And if we talk about, say, rural teledensity, I will tell you a story that there was a time I was going through, I was coming from Bhubaneswar to Calcutta, and on the road I saw this guy making Ganesha idol of a stone. So this was a beautiful sight. So I stopped the car, and I asked this guy, how much for this Ganesha idol? So he told me 10,000 bucks. I said 10,000 is very high, you give me at a reasonable price. So he agreed for 7,000 bucks. And that time I was not having money. So I said, I will come again. He said, sir, you take it, you send the money. And I took it and I sent the money to that guy. Then after coming to Bombay, one day I was uh, roaming around in Bandra and I saw there was a showroom. In that showroom, the same Ganesha idol was there. So out of curiosity, I went there and I asked that guy, how much for this Ganesha idol? And you know the price he quoted for that? He said 30,000 bucks. And I was like, my God, I got a very good deal. I got it for 7,000 bucks. And then after 1 year, I was there in Delhi in Janpath and I again saw that Ganesha idol. Janpath is a place where a lot of foreigners come. And I asked that guy, okay, how much for this Ganesha idol? He told me 1,30,000 bucks. And how much this poor guy made? This poor guy made 7,000 bucks on that. And what did he invest? He invested the stone and say weeks of hard work on that in crafting that Ganesha idol. You know what it means? That all the exploitation which was happening of these guys, middlemen were making money. Now these guys can sell their products online. They can get the actual value of their work and they don't have to live in those kind of conditions in which they were living. That is what teledensity means. And that is what telecom sector can do for India. We can make our villages the way they should be, just like our cities. Another important piece which you need to see is that how wireless data usage has improved. Look, before, since you talked about Geo, so before Geo came into market in 2016, the total data consumption which was there uh, as India, we were consuming 20 crore GB a month. So it is measured in petabytes. So we were consuming 20 crore GB a month, and after 2016, we started consuming 200 crore GB a month, which is a 10 times jump. And from say if you list nations that how their internet usage is, you will find we were there at 155th rank in the world in terms of wireless data usage. From 155th, we came to number 1 in the world in terms of wireless data usage. As of now, as a country, we consume around 500 crore GB a month. That is where we are, and that is how India has changed because of giving that power of data to people. If you see industry, that how average revenue per user has changed. So average revenue per user in 2006 used to be 300 rupees. 300 rupees per month. And this came down in 2019 to somewhere around 57 rupees a month. This is GSM prepaid all India average revenue per user. if you see overall industry is at 114 rupees, if you include prepaid, postpaid, everything. And out of 114 rupees, 89 rupees are spent on data itself. So, which is kind of more than 80% people consume on data, and there is hardly 20% or less than 20% people consume on voice. Now, this is another concept. So, I will. This concept is when I told you that how much money uh, this industry makes for the country. So, in a quarter, this industry makes somewhere around 66,000 crores, which is called gross revenue. Now, this gross revenue, uh, people in telecom, there is a practice which is called adjusted gross revenue. Adjusted gross revenue is a figure where you say that some of your revenue has come from um, say using spectrum. Using spectrum means when you call from your mobile phone, so you use a bandwidth which is allocated by government. So in mobile telephony, if you have earned revenue through mobile communication, that is taken as uh, revenue, and remaining revenue which comes from other peripherals, if you are doing uh, if you are getting revenue from other sources, that if you're selling mobile phones or if you're selling something else, those things you exclude from revenue. So you publish a figure called adjusted revenue. And what is the need for doing this adjusted gross revenue? Because whatever uh, revenue you generate using the mobile services and using the spectrum of India, spectrum allocated by government of India, you have to pay 8% license fee on that, and 3 to 5% spectrum usage charges. In fact, all these cases which are going on with multiple companies, where government is saying you have to pay so much money, this entire dispute is about license fee and spectrum usage charges, which were to be paid by the mobile phone companies to the government of India. And that is why I just wanted to give you a sense of it. Now, coming on to uh, what digital India means. You've seen this movie?
Yes, sir.
And then you must.
Jolly LLB wala,
Ah,
like that.
Jolly LLB 2.
Yes.
So this guy is fighting the case of the person who is sitting in between, the person who is having gamcha around himself, and this lawyer Akshay Kumar is fighting that case, that he has been declared dead. Can we give him? Can you take this case a favorable judgment, and I will offer you money. I have already taken fees, and this guy actually throws shoe at the judge, and the judgment, this guy is sent to jail for that. And Akshay Kumar becomes very happy because this guy gets identity. Identity is a very important concept, because if you don't have identity, you can't buy land. Even if you are alive, if you are declared dead in the books of the government, then you can't do anything about it. There are several movies around this concept itself. So, digital identity is very important, and Aadhaar has become the base of it. This entire piece works based on the concept of digital. Uh, Government was able to bring all these bank accounts the way they are working and the way Aadhaar is working. Uh, in fact, the way our vaccination program is also working based on proof of identity. So this entire thing was possible because of digital, and that is why telecom sector is very, very important and strategic for the country. Another,
Sir, sorry to interrupt you in between.
hmm,
We have a lot of questions coming from chat box too.
hmm,
And we are running short of time.
okay.
So tell me how we can manage this. Because yes, it's going interesting because you have started from the mobile, means the invention and the patent and all. So how we can, because we are running short of time. Yes, sir, over to you now.
You told me time till 11:15, so I prepared the presentation for
Yes, sir.
11:15.
Yes, sir, no issues. Please
Hmm.
continue.
So you would have seen Musaddi Lal paying rishwat to people uh, in office, and you can actually take down corruption by taking things digital. I will cut the stories and I will come directly to the point. So that is the need for digital India, and that you take out middlemen, you take out corruption. If you see this, and this is somebody has very creatively put that how Maslow hierarchy looks. Your physiological needs in the new age are Wi-Fi. Your safety needs are LinkedIn. Your love and belongingness comes from Facebook. Your esteem comes from Twitter, and actualization comes when you're on WordPress and doing blogging. The base of it is Wi-Fi. So whatever telecom sector is providing, your entire Maslow hierarchy is actually built on that base of physiological needs or Wi-Fi. And how telecom sector impacts, uh, you can order groceries online, you can order food on Swiggy. That entire e-commerce piece is a business, and it supported us in pandemic. Uh, how? Because of telecom sector. Safety. If you remember when these guys did surgical strike, they were using telecom devices uh, for communication, and whatever eyes they had on the ground, that was also provided by the telecom sector. Healthcare, you might be seeing, acha, healthcare, oh, this is distant. No, and this is becoming a big reality, and there is 5 times rise in teleconsultation in past 1 year. Education, that is another thing which is changing, and uh, whatever concepts we were applying for doing work, uh, like companies like Infosys and Wipro were getting contracts from abroad uh, and providing IT services, the same services can be provided to rural India, and we can educate our children to become better citizens and do well for themselves. Uh, Learning on mobile phone or on digital is becoming uh, a reality. If you see LinkedIn Learning, the usage during the pandemic, when the pandemic started, moved up from 560K to 1.7 million hours. Uh, it is not important that it moved 3 times on LinkedIn Learning. Thing is, before pandemic also, there were 560,000 hours which were being spent on LinkedIn Learning. And you know the platform which you are using. Uh, Zoom actually went 20 times more, from 10 million calls to 200 million calls. Uh, smart cities are coming, and all the applications you see, traffic management, air pollution, electromagnetic emission, smart homes, smart buildings, public safety, smart environment, smart health, all these things are possible because of telecom sector. Telecom sector employs 4 million plus people, which is like 40 lakh people in India, and it contributes to 6.5% of GDP, and which is one of the bigger contributors in the services sector, and services sector being the large part any which ways of the overall GDP contribution. I believe that's it from my side. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Professor, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So the question is one question from chat box from my side. That is, as the India has a 155th rank and now number one in wireless data. So what are the prospectus for management students because of this change, as per your opinion? Yes, sir. Over to you.
Look, this is a very bright sector, and don't go by that we have become number one, so the journey is over. It is not like that. I think journey has started. We are talking about 5G already. When we are talking about 5G, we are talking about IoT. IoT means Internet of Things. That means that your tele density, which is at 115%, that can actually go to 500%. And for it to happen to 500%, that means there is 5 times more growth possible in the telecom sector if 5G happens. So the prospects in the telecom sector are good. As of now, there are three major players, and when I am talking about three major players in the access sector, access side. And you have seen it is not only telecom providers, there are many components of telecom sector, and you have seen all the sides of telecom sector. In my opinion, devices will also grow. At the same time, access will also grow. And this is a high margin business. So, companies are eager and keen to do that kind of innovation with young minds. So, I believe this is a sector which all the young management professionals must consider.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Next question from Rushali, Madhya Pradesh. She's saying that as the transition is changed from mobile, then internet provider, then dish TV provider. So, what will be the most probably the next sector which is coming to be? That may be IoT, or what is your opinion on that?
Look, these are part of telecom sector. So, all these things contribute to the country in one way or the other. To my mind, access is going to grow, which we say one is wireline is going to grow big time. Wireless has a scope of growing in terms of because of IoT, wireless is going to grow. When you are using say wireline services are becoming more and more popular nowadays. The reason for wireline services to become popular is that people are now running their television sets not through DTH providers but through uh, wireline. One is the service is better, and second is there are many OTT apps which have come. So OTT apps are going to improve. OTT apps are going to improve their contribution and more OTT apps are there, people are going to prefer wireline. So wireline business will grow, OTT business will grow. When I'm saying OTT, you are seeing Hotstar, you are seeing Z, and you are seeing Netflix. So all these things are trying to create a new environment, and this environment is going to create more opportunities, one for consumers and second for people who are interested to work in this area.
Thank you, sir. I will take last question, and I expect a short answer over that. As our all students are from the different backgrounds, as I told you, BA, BCom, BSc, BE, and they will spend 2 years with us in a management course. So, do you suggest? Would you like to suggest any of the skills where, if they will focus in these 2 years, it will be good for them to enter into this sector?
So try to be digital. Try to think in a digital manner rather than in a physical manner, because most of the businesses are going digital and digital is the way to go. So if you're thinking digital, if you're thinking about possibilities, okay, what all can happen or should happen for world to be better, then actually that is the kind of mindset which most of the organizations in telecom sector look for. That if you are willing to create a bright future for the country and the world, then you are most welcome.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for covering most of the things, like mobile has changed the world. It was invented in 1949. And one most important thing which you have included in your conversation, that invention is good, but patent is more important than the invention. So thank you for giving this suggestion, as we are moving from 1G of 2.4 kbps to 5G of 100 kb, sorry, 1 Gbps. So thank you for this suggestion. And the type of communication, then mobility from fixed line, DTH, MSO, ISP, R&D, and the number of increase in subscribers, that is 120 crore subscribers are there in India, and which helps in 6.5% GDP in Indian growth. So thank you for your valuable suggestion, sir. Our student will get enlightened with your knowledge, and it will help them to select a right sector and right discipline in these 2 years. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you. In fact, I have posted the link of my
Yes,
book
sir.
in case you want to read some of the stories. This is a story book.
Yes, sir.
So in case you feel like, just read those stories. You might like them.
Sure.
So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.